Hello BookTube, this is part 8 of my science fiction and fantasy library tour. Let us begin. First we have another book by Robert E. Howard. This is The Black Strangler and Other American Tales. This is a collection of short fiction that I think deals more with horror and maybe a bit more contemporary than what is usually considered Howard's style or typical subject matter. Picked it up from Golden's Book Exchange. I want to say there's some weird stuff somewhere around here, but anyway. So there's The Black Strangler. Next we have The Fire Stone by Tanya Huff. And 3 books by Kameron Hurley. The Mirror Empire and Empire Ascendant, the first 2 volumes in the Worldbreaker saga. So 3rd volume should be coming out early next month or mid-month in January. And next we have The Stars Are Legion, which I talked about in September. Yeah. So I've read The Mirror Empire and it was okay. I probably need to give it another read. And I'll probably need to give The Stars of Legion another read too. So moving on from Kameron Hurley and in starting the J's, we have Brian Jacques Redwall. Picked it up from the Friends of the Library book sale alcove at West Waco Library and Genealogy Center. Another pickup from the West Waco Library and Genealogy Center book sale nook is The Last Magicians by John Jakes. Excuse me. Next is Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. I read this earlier in the year, and I mean, it is a difficult read. James's style is complicated, luxuriantly so. But if you really cut some of the complications out, I mean, it is a really relatively simple story. It's just told complicatedly. But I quite enjoyed it. I'm going to reread it again sometime in the new year. And quite looking forward to having another go at it. Next, I have a whole bunch of N.K. Jemisin. This is the Inheritance Trilogy. It's a combined omnibus with the entire series. It includes The 100,000 Kingdoms, The Broken Kingdom, The Kingdom of Gods, and a novella, The Awakened Kingdom. I've had this for quite a few years. Really need to get around to reading the Inheritance Trilogy. Next, I have the entire Broken Earth Trilogy. The 5th season, The Obelisk Gate, and finally, The Stone Sky. And I have her latest book, How Long Till Black Future Month, which I want to say I've talked about before. And if not, I really enjoyed quite a few of the stories, and some of them not so much, but it was a pretty good collection. So far, I mean, I want to collect all of N.K. Jemisin's work. I still have the Dreamblood duology to get, which, well, spoiler alert, I've got it. I'll do when I do a book, show them when I do a book haul. And I have The City We Became, her next novel already on pre-order, which should be coming in March. So, moving on from N.K. Jemisin, I have Black Dog by K.B. Johansson. This is a used library book from Weinenberg Library of Mequon Thiensville out of Wisconsin. And next I have a collection of books by Louis Cha, whose pen name is Jin Yong. So first we have A Hero Born, the first volume of the Legends of the Condor Heroes series. So basically the Legends of the Condor Heroes series is 4 trilogies. No, not 4 trilogies. 3 trilogies. Sorry about that. 3 trilogies divided into 4 books each. So there's a total of 12 in the Legends of the Condor Heroes series. So this is book 1, A Hero Born. I picked this up from Book Depository when I first heard that Maclean Press was releasing these. I jumped on it as soon as I could, and I quite enjoy them. And I'll talk about them probably when I read the first 3 volumes when the 3rd volume comes out in January or February. I need to check on that. But let me read you the back of this one. China, 1200 AD. The Song Empire has been invaded from the north by its warlike Jurchen neighbors. Half its territory and its historic capital lie in enemy hands. The peasants toil under the burden of the annual tribute demanded by the occupiers. Meanwhile, on the Mongolian steppes, a disparate nation of great warriors is about to be united by a warlord whose name will endure for eternity, Genghis Khan. Guo Jing, son of a murdered Song's patriot, grew up with Genghis Khan's army. He is humble, loyal, perhaps not altogether wise, and is fated from birth one day to confront an opponent who is the opposite of him in every way, privileged, cunning, and perfectly trained in the martial arts. Guided by his faithful Shifus, the 7 heroes of the south, Guo Jing must return to China to fulfill his destiny. But in a land riven by war and betrayal, his courage and his loyalties will be tested at every turn. Oh, very, very exciting. Love this volume. Can't wait to get back to it. Next, I have, again, book 2 of the Legends of the Condor Heroes series, A Bond Undone. Again, from Maclean, and I picked it up through Book Depository. And finally, moving on from Legend of the Condor Heroes series, I have The Book and the Sword, which this is from Oxford and is printed or published under Louis Cha's real name, obviously Louis Cha, rather than his pen name of Jin Yong. I haven't gotten around to this one yet. Picked it up again from Book Depository, and I'll read you the back. Oh no, this is just quotations. Sorry about that. But wait, let me see here. Oh, okay. So the French flaps. So for a change, the French flaps come in useful. The Book of the Sword was Louis Cha's first novel, published in 1955. The story has a panoramic sweep, which has at its heart a few unbeatable themes: secret societies, kung fu masters, and the sensational rumor so dear to Chinese hearts that the great Manchu Emperor Qianlong was not in fact a Manchu, but a Han Chinese, a line of descent that came about as a result of a baby swap on the part of the Qins of Haining in southern China. It mixes in the exotic flavors of Central Asia, a lost city in the desert guarded by wolf packs, and the fragrant princess. This lady is an embellishment of an actual historical figure, although whether she actually smelled of flowers we will never know. So, looking forward to getting to this one. And finally wrapping up my Louis Cha Jinyang collection is Fox Volant of the Snowy Mountain. This one was published by the Chinese University Press. This book here, I think, was for a long time the only Jinyang or Louis Cha novel available in English. A lot of his work and a lot of the work of the other wuxia writers have been available in unofficial online translations. And it's good to see that they're being translated and published officially. So let's read the back of this one. The story took place in Snowy Mountain in the coldest part of Manchuria. One winter's morning in 1781, the Dragon Lodge party ran into the Horse Spring banditry, who were there to unearth a buried casket. They were waylaid yet by the Peking Overland Convoy. All three parties had designs on the metal casket, supposedly housing a poignard, which was an heirloom of the Martial Brotherhood. A monk arrived on the scene and invited the parties to the eyrie on the summit. The lord of the eyrie happened to be away summoning help to fight Fox Volant of the Snowy Mountain, who was scheduled to arrive on the summit at noon. While waiting, each one in the parties began recounting incidents which took place some 20 years before. The excitement, intrigue, and action in these incidents are well dramatized, with one event firmly intertwining with others in the past, developing into a vendetta involving the offspring of several families. The story ends with a fight between Fox, the hero of the story, and his sworn enemy. But the result of the fight is untold, left to the imagination and creative power of individual readers. So I read this about a year or two ago and loved it. I mean, I can't wait to get to it. Although Mock does come in for some, I think, just criticism in her translation. But I'll talk about that when I do a proper discussion video. Fox Volant of the Snowy Mountain. And finally, from this part of the library tour is Have Mercy by Jada Jones and Danielle Bennett. So that wraps up part 8 of my science fiction and fantasy library tour and completes the double-sided bookcase. Tomorrow I will move on to the big black bookcase that my brother made. So that should be fun. Thank you, BookTube. Until next time.